to find the flanks for pickoffs rather than just going for 5-on-5 hard engages straight into a full 5-on-5 comp that had a super champion farmed already that they were just trying to protect. So we'll see if C9 can keep a clear focus here through the mid game, I think would be the improvements this time around. Also kind of the Evelynn pick, not a great stand-in really there for the Nocturne with their Shen plus diver composition that we had seen previously that they really enjoyed running. So maybe they have a different strategy they go to this time around.
Well, we'll have to see in the draft, as Cloud9 have already banned Morgana, Swain, and one more to come out. And no Nocturne this game either. First ban from 100 Thieves, joining Taliyah as Shen, actually banned by Cloud9.
Yeah, gonna ban it out themselves. Licorice says, I am done playing Shen for this team. Time to get another look. And that would be, okay, Ornn definitely rises up very high in priority, but there are a lot of counter picks as well with, Ornn being so popular. We see Singed all the time. Aatrox yet again is still on the table, and probably don't want to blind that one, especially into Ssumday.
And they're not going to give GoldenGlue Zoe either. 100 Thieves actually banned that one away last, so where did Cloud9 want to go? Ornn, you said, jumps out, but Ssumday already demonstrating his willingness on some of the fighter champions. A very versatile player there in the top lane. Maybe a jungler on the horizon there for Sven if they want to get aggressive. Not an obvious option, but Rakan will be the selection here.
Super highly prized support right now. We saw on display last time around. The speed of the engagements is definitely very, very powerful. After those buffs where he doesn't necessarily need Xayah for the super long engagements and doesn't hurt his power as much without her. We've been seeing so many more teams just willing to first pick this champion and get themselves some priority there. We even saw, again, in the LCK last night with SKT, they had the Rakan doing the support role around mid lane and trying to get more farm there, blank taking that one and trying to get Bang super fed. So it's also a candidate for the funneling strategy, the super strategy, as far as getting someone very fed.
Well, Kai'Sa is as well, and that is the first pick here for 100 Thieves, and Aatrox actually blind picked here, presumably for Ssumday. So feeling good after his player of the game.
Yeah.
Yesterday, going to revisit it here for game 2.
Ssumday had a lot of fun on Aatrox yesterday, and the gauntlet has been thrown down here to Licorice to see if he wants to take that one-on-one on top side. Aatrox, by the way, reason why he's been gaining so much power. The Rage Blade is absolutely insane with any of these on-hit champions like Kai'Sa or Aatrox. And then in addition, Conqueror really works well with him because he gets to choose his engagement opportunity, goes full in, and has a bunch of true damage to just continue to auto-attack away.
All right, well, you mentioned Rakan kind of helping a gold funnel. That was Xayah, actually, in the SKT game yesterday or last night. So that is one of the selections here for C9. And Yasuo, turn for just a second. Aurelia also up at GoldenGlue. Going to take the Yasuo into battle. Right. Of course, can be in someone else's hands, but certainly a strong champion.
It's interesting because we saw Jensen in the Cloud9 Academy games taking Yasuo and getting quite a few kills for himself and doing well for himself there. So maybe GoldenGlue as well will get his hand at it here on the LCS stage. But as you said, so nebulous as far as where the champions are going. One thing is, though, that Cloud9 have definitely a lot of attack damage, no real AP threat to speak of here. So would want to diversify their damage profile in their last 2 picks, as well as probably getting a little bit more health, a little bit more beef to work around. Meanwhile, though, 100 Thieves also get to lock in the Yasuo for their last pick here in the first round. Really further empowering their front line there in the dive. And even though Aatrox and Xin don't really build tanky, they do have their passive and their ultimates to rely upon to create timing windows that can give Kai'Sa enough of an opening and enough of a front line to work around.
Yeah, Kai'Sa does not need much to rampage through a team fight in the late game, so we'll see how that works out. But kind of the first 6 picks are through, cause of these early compositions completed now for both teams. And is Evelynn actually the ban there for 100 Thieves? So going after Sven with presumably a jungler unpicked. Aphromoo going to lose his Alistar as well. C9 take away some of that support playmaking with Rakan already picked for themselves.
Yeah, definitely trying to break up that synergy there down bottom side. Anytime you do see the Kai'Sa as well, you want to try and take out any of the tankier champions that apply that hard CC very easily and let them go for those kill pressure moves. Trundle actually, though, showing up as well. Interesting last ban here as they're trying to focus Svenskeren. Even though the Evelynn didn't have great showing yesterday, they're still also banned that one out. So really trying to whittle down his champion pool.
As you mentioned, it's also an AP threat that you can run from the jungle, so that would help them move around their damage somewhat. Trundle is a very solid jungler, can enable either Xayah or Yasuo pretty well. I kind of like what 100 Thieves are doing here. Even though something like Graves is available, it might move Cloud9 too far to one index of damage.
Definitely could be the case. All right, let's see here. 100 Thieves still don't have permanent allocation. I would expect the Braum actually, I mean, it's super viable to have this be a mid lane / jungle Kai'Sa, you know, with Smite, and have the Braum kind of helping him around the jungle and holding the mid lane waves, as we've seen be very popular. I think Kai'Sa is definitely one of the best candidates to be able to just put all of your you know, jungle and mid lane money into, because she does scale so well.
Alrighty then. Well, Sejuani and Fiora, Licorice's favorite champion.
Instead of getting some magic damage, they just go for some brew damage there on the Fiora.
Makes sense.
Yasuo, of course, with the ultimate can cut through some of the attack damage. And it looks like they're just not too worried about any full tank builds. I still would say 100 Thieves, each member should probably pick up a token amount of armor at least, you know, Ninja Tabis or something like that. So we'll definitely see some early effectiveness, I think, of a little bit of, you know, like a cloth armor will definitely go a long ways, you know, as for the early game. Eventually, C9 will get things like, you know, black cleavers and be able to deal with that in the late game, but I don't even know if it's going to be able to get there. Looks like, though, unless we have another late swap here, 100 Thieves are going to be the more standard bottom lane. We did see Cody Sun on his Vlad and not feel too comfortable on it and, you know, give up first blood in their game in week 1. So just put that one over to Ryu, let the mid laner keep the mid lane champion, and just have a much more standard bottom lane matchup here.
Yeah, in general, both these teams playing a little more traditionally as far as roles go. Players can, of course, move around the Rift if they would like, but based on summoners that we know, I don't think that's going to happen. But you know what? I'm willing to be surprised once more, Cody.
Cody Sun did not take Smite on the Kai'Sa. It's a teleport Kai'Sa, so we will definitely assume that it's just going to be in the bottom lane instead of rushing around that jungle. And we'll get to see the Meteos Xin Zhao versus Svenskeren Sejuani in the heads up 1v1 jungle.
Yeah, kind of a different look there for Sven, but really the only frontliner on his team. So we'll have to see. Cloud9 are saying, you know what? Didn't have enough carries last time. That was the problem.
Yeah, well, Sven, the big thing about Sejuani too is you always want to be able to work with another melee champion to set up your stuns. Biggest, you know, best part of her kit is that passive and proccing those stuns. Works so well with either Yasuo or Fiora. So I would think, looking at these, that Svenskeren would want to focus on the solo lanes there for Cloud9 and try and win through those, whereas Meteos, you know, may have a couple more options here with Xin. And we'll definitely have to get a look at the early game, because the Sejuani Arctic Assault can also set up Yasuo ultimates later on with the knockup. And there definitely is a lot of kill pressure.
Yeah, certainly kind of a lot to like on both sides here. 100 Thieves check for Keith in the brush. C9 are going to see that, though, and no wards have been placed just yet. I think Zeyzal actually did get one down. There it is. Going to spot Aphromoo and Cody moving back into this side towards the Raptor pit. So again, good bit of vision there from C9, but nothing crazy happening here. 100 Thieves just kind of getting what information they can. Aphromoo going to put down a ward just next to C9's there.
Yeah, some river vision, scuttle crab vision. You get to see which one the opponent jungler is going to go for. Allows you the early routing to ensure that you either get one, or if you have a champion like Xin, you can pressure and try and just run straight through to get both. I've definitely seen people just go red buff into trying to control both scuttles early. As long as you do have mid lane presence. But again, mid lane presence does mean so much in trying to control those early if you really wanted to make that power play for the double, which is actually fairly rare in competitive, as everybody's gotten very used to, you know, trading them.
Well, Meteos already down to the right-hand side, so probably going there.
Yeah, Meteos actually going up top lane gank here.
Already spotted.
Red buff gank, baby.
Yeah, Licorice is like, oh, I'm level 1, so probably gonna have to burn the flash.
He actually...
Ooh, very nice Q. I think he might have got a bit of speed off that one.
Yeah. So actually, it's kind of an interesting decision there, Xin, to be able to either just walk over to them and then save your dash for after the Q and then apply your slow, but he just goes in, gets some damage onto Licorice. No summoners blown though, so not too bad for him.
Licorice.
And a nice repose.
Got a level advantage now. The dash gonna come out from Ssumday as he flies away, but Licorice gets a good amount of damage in that trade.
And it's interesting because the windows here versus Aatrox, it's all about, okay, can you keep him low enough and zone him from the minions before he can heal back up with the W? Meteos, though, is on the gank path, even though he was revealed. And it's been communicated that he's definitely coming from the top side. So GoldenGlue is shoved off of the mid wave for a little bit. Lost the experience there on the one melee, I believe, before he's able to get back into lane.
Yeah, thankfully it looks like the wave will push back. You're going to try and deny what he can, but GoldenGlue should be okay. He finally takes down the cannon and hits level 3.
Yeah, and Svenskeren is now going for the gank on top side, with Ssumday being very low.
Ssumday's about to get 1v1. Does have the passive ready. Will get proc, but Sven here in time is going to wait though.
No passive, and his flash is available, but very low. Can he get this recall off?
Svenskeren trying to take a bit of jungle first, but looks like the recall will be finished. Cloud9 not going to take a potentially risky play.
All right.
Waiting for the TP instead. Maybe now Sven comes up, but
yeah,
pushing, so maybe not.
Licorice definitely slapping him around a little bit, but after the reset here with Ssumday purchasing, should feel comfortable being able to finish the CS at his tower. And again, when you're a champion like Xin Zhao, you can easily take those fights early on in the game. These are the opportunities where you get to control both scuttlers. So Meteos, even though he shows himself early, we saw him just run right through mid lane. And he's like, hello, Sejuani, you know, take your best shot, come over and try and meet me if you want, but not going to be the case here. So he is going to have both scuttles and look for the respawn timing there for him to be able to continue to control those throughout the game.
Yep, last time I casted a Meteos game, he did the same thing on Camille, so Crabmaster Meteos does get both.
And the similarity between those two champions and the power early is the reason why you get a lot of that. In addition, like we said, with that mid lane control, Camille, one of the big things why she even rose up in this meta is her ability to go for those early ganks and easily take the unsuspecting Scuttle Crab or level 2 duels.
Well, we'll have to see how these lanes work out. We expect a kind of a lot of attention potentially from Sven in mid and top. GoldenGlue in his blind pick. He's getting shoved in a little, but is okay on farm. And Ssumday in his counter pick, of course, with Licorice taking the Fiora against him, also doing just fine. We did see some of those trades go in Licorice's favor before, but we'll have to see if he can get any more of a foothold here in this lane and continue to bully Ssumday, or if he'll just kind of power up on this Aatrox and be A-okay.
Yep, control it for himself. Should be able to keep fairly safe. Just hold on to the Q while he's pushing up, and then even if Sejuani comes, he'll be able to jump himself right back out. Teleports from bottom leaders now super commonplace. Double knockup from Zeyzal.
Yeah, Zeyzal actually getting a good amount done. Ignites on the Cody Sun. The flash forward in from Keith, but a good block from Aphromoo. The Defenders, not quite enough to ignite. Barely missing out on that kill.
All right, you better respect that teleport a little bit more. They were just standing right next to each other, so Zeyzal sees the double knockup in his eyes, gets the ignite off, and they do trade flashes, even though you feel like the full advantage is in the Rakan there and in that trade. Those summoners are also blown from keys. Yes, he uses his flash offensively, but that also can be punished. Ryu, though, in mid lane.
Yeah, gonna get the knockup. Will move in. Sven gonna try and chain the CC together. He's in the pool, but the passive is ready for the set. Does get the stun down. GoldenGlue still chasing forward, but he got healing back for the Hemo Plague. Now GoldenGlue forced to get away. Meteos here first, but he doesn't quite get the kill. And now again, the action continues. Licorice burn the ulti, gonna try and take down Ssumday, but he's got the passive ready. And Licorice knows he can't die further.
Oh, Licorice, again, bullying Ssumday through this lane. But unless you actually get the kill.
Yeah, goes for it, grabs the first blood, passive wears off, and Licorice secures it.
Oh, so smooth with the Q flash there from Licorice. Finds the chunk onto Ssumday to finish him off, and he's been beating him around up there for pretty much 5 entire minutes since the lanes actually started. Finally finds the kill with the alone time, and solo kill going over Fiora this early. Gonna fuel that Tiamat. A lot of extra damage here. And Licorice is going to require some attention from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, we see Keith right now with Zeyzal's roam. Struggling a little as Cody was forced to walk back to lane, burnt his TP already after Keith and Zeyzal's play that almost got them first blood, but this is the one that actually got first blood.
Let's take a look. Licorice, he goes in, he got the first vital proc, uses his ultimate to get another 2 here, actually 3 to get Ssumday this low, then waits for the passive to time out. He sees the vital on the opposite side. Boom, able to get it, flashes, Qs through him right after for the last proc, and that finishes him off. I mean, Licorice, this is a guy, rookie of the split, last split, and he, retaining his spot on Cloud9, has talked about how even though this was a team with so many veterans, now he's actually, as the rookie of the split previously, now one of the ones who is being looked to for, you know, more of the in-game presence and more of kind of the leadership and the longer standing here on the team. Well, definitely performing for Ssumday.
Yep, again, passive up, but Licorice is going to keep chasing Darkflight out from Ssumday. I mean, Licorice is a player that is here to prove himself.
But can he kind of temper the aggression? He knows he's got a huge advantage, but he's also got a Xin Zhao right behind him in the brush. Actually, though, Meteos starts to think about, can I actually take this guy in the 1v2? Ssumday doesn't. Okay, now he's charging up his passive, has 1 stack.
Now sees him. Licorice does everything up except his flash, so it's going to walk out of that gank. Sven's even going topside, but bot. Here's the quickness activated for Zeyzal. Does get the jump point blank into Aphro, forcing the flash away. The Q lands. He wants it. He gets the feathers to go, but the stun lands in after. Now Cody caught in a 1v2, but he's able to pick up Keith. Svenskeren on the other side, now chasing in. Going to look for Meteos first, but Meteos burns the ulti to stay alive. Svenskeren, they're going to force Ssumday under his turret. Yeah,
Ssumday has flash, but he's got to get out of there. He doesn't want to die under the turret and lose out on these minions. Needs to heal back up and teleport back over. Svenskeren still stopping some recalls for them on the Sejuani.
And Proxy here as well if he wants to, but Licorice taking the time to back instead. So we'll watch this one again.
All right, Zeyzal goes in. First charge up Aphromoo here, and they focus down Aphro, but they overcommit everything. Stun comes in, so Keith gets locked up, and since they hadn't poured any of their damage into Cody Sun, this Kai'Sa's just been sitting there the whole time while they're chasing Aphromoo into the turret, dumping in damage and stacking up the passive.
It's the Ace of Predator replay for a reason, Kobe. Cody comes up clutch in that moment to turn it back around. So again, a very even back and forth here. Cloud9 though still up about 600 gold or so with Licorice having his advantage, almost 20 CS ahead of Ssumday, who is a very well-known Fiora player, I might add. So again, a rookie with a lot to prove now in his sophomore split. We'll see what he can get done here against a fearsome opponent as Cody taking Crabmaster Meteos' title away from him for now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes things difficult for a jungler when your top laner is getting pushed around so much, and they're like, I need some help up here. This guy is playing so aggressively, and he's always pushing. But if he's playing that aggressively, and he has a big minion wave built up, plus he has chunked your top laner down to, what, 200 health, as we've constantly seen, even if you go up there as Meteos, then you have to be confident that you can still win maybe even a 1v1 with the enemy top laner if your top laner's been chunked out so hard that they can't really assist you there. And that is how a top lane Fiora situation kind of gets to this point where there's not a lot of good recourse for 100 Thieves. And that's why Svenskeren is now constantly up here, just buying Licorice some more time to be alone with Ssumday up here and try and further the advantage.
Sven knows a ward timed out as well. Saw it die in the brush as he took down the Krugs. Meteos also camping a lane of his own, but at the bot side, he's trying to play to his team's strength right now as Licorice powered up already with the Sejuani. Passive, there's the ult gonna land in. The TP coming through, but he's dead before it can complete.
Easy stun lock there. Sejuani comes in. They're able to just use ult and knock up, and in that time, burst him down. Plus, that should be a race. Okay, 100 Thieves get the first turret bonus. Thankfully for them, bottom side here, and Meteos kind of abandoning the disaster that is top side does pay off for them. So what you have to do a lot of the time, as a jungler, and that's where kind of the saying of quote-unquote never gank a losing lane, which is very applicable to solo queue, kind of came from those situations where you go up top side with your Aatrox getting beat around, maybe you just give over more kills. Whereas if you go bottom side, you trade that losing top side for the first turret bonus plus the trade.
Yeah, it looks like another trade coming out as Sven starts the Rift Herald and almost has it completed. Gonna drag it back out. Should be able to hit the eye and take this one down pretty comfortably. Doesn't even need to commit the smite. So
Yeah.
a trade across the board. It takes maybe a little
longer uncomfortable
than Sven wanted, so does smite it away, but collects the eye in the end. And we'll see if he can use that to get Xayah in a second turret, as we'll watch this dive again.
I don't need to see it again, buddy. Boom, stun, boom. The knock up right at the end of the stun. That's the key part to mention. As soon as you see that stun about to time out for the Sejuani ultimate, then you want to apply your knock up. You know, Svenskeren doesn't make the mistake of immediately Aatrox assaulting in, and that's about the only thing that really could have messed that up for them. So, you know, well played there. Properly chaining your crowd control people. That is step number 1, pulling off the clean dive.
And again, as these teams kind of battle in opposite sides of the map, you see mid lane just a bit of a farm fest for now, but both these champions are very strong in team fights when set up. So we'll see if Ryu and GoldenGlue can influence the next encounter. For now, Cloud9's duo just pushing out, trying to apply some pressure, and that W not finding its mark. But Cody Sun powering up on the Kai'Sa as well.
Yeah, we actually haven't had them swap lanes right now, even though the turrets were taken down. Pings here onto the Sejuani, but GoldenGlue goes.
Oh, that's really nice from Svenskeren. Ryu gonna get ulted after the Q and taken down, but here comes Rakan. Now actually the Xin Zhao's gonna try and make it happen, but the TP in from Zeyzal actually is gonna secure the kill. It's Keith that rode him in, and there's a double kill for GoldenGlue. He's too far forward. He does go down to the Aatrox. And now the rest of 100 Thieves are here. Keith burns the ulti. Aphro's gonna block the feathers.
Oh man, Cloud9 with the initiative here. They move up, and even with the pings coming through, Ryu gets stunned up. Nice ultimate there from Svenskeren on this Sejuani. That's a better performance here from Sven than we've been seeing so far this split. Just being able to come to the lanes, apply the crowd control, and not being the one in the hands of the damage and going a bit too aggressive. So there it is. Ultimate does land quite nicely. Then this time around, he actually uses Arctic Assault early to allow GoldenGlue to use his ult and finish off the damage on the kill to get it in time. And those few seconds definitely mean a lot. Down comes Ssumday, though, to cut off the escape from GoldenGlue. And that is big for 100 Thieves to get some money back for themselves, as Cloud9 have started to pull ahead here in the mid game.
Yep, more high pressure systems brewing up, though, as 100 Thieves do invade right side of C9's jungle. GoldenGlue is currently transferred to another lane, perhaps getting some side lane action going on the Yasuo. That is going to be kind of forced out here by a few members of 100.
Oh, baby. I was wondering if we were going to see the Essence Reaver Fiora here. And it has come to fruition here with Licorice. He doesn't rush for, you know, the early upgrade of the lifesteal, but Essence Reaver is one of my favorite new items just because it operates so much differently from, you know, previous items that we've seen implemented in the game. Pops his ultimate, and he's going to be able to spam his Qs to get around the fight, constantly trying to proc the passive, as well as being able to get multiple riposte off in the fight if necessary, is always such a difficult thing to deal with. When your immediate reaction is usually to focus on the Fiora, right? As soon as a riposte is used, they'll be vulnerable. But here we go in the lane.
Flash from Ryu, gonna try and take down KG, flashes out, Zeyzal goes back in, but the Hemo play procs and Ryu does get the kill. Just a little too squishy. That's for Xayah.
Yeah, exactly what 100 Thieves needed, though. A proactive move of their own around the mid lane. Now they're getting collapsed upon, though, and here comes Fiora from the back.
Licorice gonna try and show off some essence through here in the team fight. Svenskeren moving forward. GoldenGlue's here as well. All already used from the Sejuani, but Cody around the side as Licorice trying to chase down Aphromoo as his first target. Gets exhausted, but gets the first kill. Now gonna start zipping around. Cody does get Svenskeren, but he's forced to dip left of the fight. TP back in from Keith will silence the rest of this.
100 Thieves are going to get out with just Aphromoo falling there. But Cloud9 kind of put a stop to that play as soon as it starts. And now they're the ones pushing back. This war over the mid lane towers continues.
Well, the Rift Herald already used, unfortunately. So even if Sven was around, couldn't get it to try and knock down that turret or at least deal some extra damage as GoldenGlue is back to the bot side of the map.
Got to pause here, check in on what just went down. But all right, has been an exciting game. We can kind of recap how we got to this point since we have a few seconds here. Let's just review again Licorice's 1v1 situation up topside with the Fiora counterpick into Aatrox. Definitely been bullying him around for the majority of this game, and that has been where Cloud9 have tried to play off. After Licorice earned his own advantage, by the way, in that 1 versus 1, then Svenskeren started to go up there on Sejuani and just kind of supplement that advantage with a little bit of extra vision, a little bit of extra presence, and allow Cloud9 to really take control of the top side of the map. That's where they got that Rift Herald. That's where they got their tower. But 100 Thieves, Meteos, he went bottom side. And there were also some misplays from Keith and Zeyzal going a little bit overboard, chasing kills on Aphromoo under turret, which were punished and then also led to the extra jungle presence, giving 100 Thieves control of the bottom side of the map.
Well, just a quick update. It is 100 Thieves that asked for a pause. Seems like a mouse issue with one of the players, so we'll get that looked at and back in the game as soon as possible. But certainly, again, with all the topside pressure, I think bot side 100 Thieves certainly been doing very well. And hey, now we can look at it in real time, Cody.
All right, mouse fixed up, no problemo. Here's a replay of Ryu going all in on the duo, gets his ultimate, E plus the Ignite Q there, enough to basically 1v2 the Cloud9 duo. But then, as they're pushed up at the turret here, trying to get that gold for themselves, they go for the dive, and immediately Licorice comes in for the counter, ults Aphromoo to get the 1 quick kill. Now, on the way out, 100 Thieves got a kill for themselves as well there, taking down Svenskeren. So it was a 1-for-1 on the dive. But the main thing is that it stopped them from pressuring that turret and finishing off the turret kill to open up the map, which happens so quickly once the mid one does fall.
Yeah, there's actually a sweet killer instinct there from Cody over a wall to try and shoot between the turrets. So good play on either side here. But like you said, Kobe, turrets still even, 1 apiece, as the teams look to break open a few more and extend their advantage. Cloud9 are up about 1,500 gold. With Drake spawning now in 5 seconds, there's a second mountain on the table for 100 Thieves to try and take and stockpile for themselves.
Yeah, also, okay, well, we're going to have a little bit of action mid lane here. I don't remember seeing the Rift Herald used, so I went back to check. And it actually timed out while Svenskeren was dead in the fountain, which is one of the worst feelings if you've ever taken the Rift Herald and you have the eye, but you get killed and your death timer is too long. As the timer is ticking out, you never get to use it because you are in the fountain. So that's why Cloud9 never got to actually use the Rift Herald, which they actually traded the, that Mountain Drake for. So they lost a lot of value there, even more value than we thought with Svenskeren's death.
That's the extra IQ on Cody Sun, sniping the jungler with the Herald. As we are fighting, gonna start that off. I think a little wide. Zeyzal though zipping around. But it's Sejuani caught in the thunder, and Cody Sun able to get that kill. Still C9 looking to try and get an exit kill. Licorice did TP in, but Ssumday already down here. 4v5 now for Cloud9.
Another big kill for 100 Thieves onto Svenskeren, and this time around, nothing should stop them from finishing off that turret. Definitely a big reward as they can also move to the Drake you mentioned. Now, 2 mountains. Mountains early, people usually laugh about and they're like, it's not that important. But if you stack 2 this early, you can be ready for 20-minute Barons. You absolutely can annihilate that thing as soon as it spawns. So this is going to mean that Cloud9 have increased importance on their vision around this Baron. Aatrox and Xin by themselves, or Xin and Kai'Sa. Well, actually kind of need a little bit more tanky than just the Xin, even though Meteos does have ninja copies. 2 players can have so much threat on that. All right, let's take another look as the ultimate from Sven there goes right through with the dodge. I want to see a little bit slower replay of it to see that one going through, but nice collapse there from 100 Thieves to pull off the kill. They just pick them off. Aphromoo puts up the Braum wall, so it's unbreakable, and they're not letting anyone try and counterattack.
Yeah, leads into the turret and the Drake as well, so 100 Thieves up in objectives, but still a little bit behind in gold.
Here we go. Oh, just to the side there. So, yeah, Meteos, dashes at the same time, and that's just a plain old missed ult.
All right, well, detective work done. See if Svenskeren can recalibrate for the next fight. But like
angles, though.
Like you said, Cloud9 certainly increased importance on the left side of the map here as GoldenGlue is trying to flush out the minions from under this turret. 100 Thieves going to play up. See if maybe a fight's brewing as basically an equal number of people here in the left. 100 Thieves with a bit more initiative.
Yeah, we just talked about the double Mountain Drakes. If they get vision control over the Baron, Cloud9 have to react here because of the speed that 100 Thieves can just burn through that thing and the safety. Cloud9 are constantly going to be worried about that threat. And that constant fear of Baron being taken forces mistakes. That forces a lot of unforced errors usually. And that's a weird combination of words, actually.
I mean, I think the other thing to note is for Cloud9, we did criticize them for kind of not using their comp correctly, you know, not splitting quite as well as they could have. Fiora gives you a very clear window to just do this, get aggressive, as the Resurrect will come out from under the turret. But Keith actually takes up Meteos on the other side, and Licorice looking to go for the solo, grabs it on a rampage, he slays Ssumday.
Licorice absolutely destroying Ssumday all game long on this Fiora into Aatrox. Great use of the counter there, and Ryu now the target.
Last breath out, the stun is gonna chain. They take down Ryu with the pull up, I believe.
Cloud9 are angry, and they are running it straight through the 100 Thieves defenses. That is going to be kills in mid and bottom simultaneously, resulting in 2 turrets for themselves.
And perhaps to the Baron, they do take the turrets. They get themselves a pretty good gold lead as a result. But do they dare take more?
The drawback of Mountain Drakes. If you don't have the team fight presence to give that threat on Baron, then they're kind of useless here. They're useless defensive Drakes as Cloud9 go very offensively and force 100 Thieves to pay. Let's take another look here. Ssumday, he does try and get his passive as quickly as possible, and he sees Licorice going for the all-in, so he jumps in, pulls his ultimate there, but Licorice just returns for round number 2. It's like, all right, I'll take you from 100 to 0 once again. Finishes off Ssumday, even though the flash is blown there. Once you have a melee, auto attack or something in progress, flashing away unless you flash into Fog of War to break vision, the auto or the melee ability there will go off regardless. Here's another.
GoldenGlue's just starting us all off, and Aphro is forced to get away. He already flagged, but Zeyzal able to get the kill in the Bloodthirst between the supports. The ult is wide as Ryu flashes just right of it. Svenskeren, though, still hungry for a few more kills. Cloud9 starting to pick up speed. Oh, Zeyzal dives in. There's the recombo into the last breath, and GoldenGlue grabs yet another kill.
It's like 100 Thieves are just moving so slowly here, and Cloud9 taking every opportunity that they see anyone, even just on the map, to go for the hard initiation. 2 more quick kills picked up for themselves, and they're going to force this Baron even over the Scuttlecraft in front of 100 Thieves.
Great to the Baron. No vision in the back or in the pit, though, for 100 Thieves, so they have to make some guesses. Licorice getting aggressive, but the rest of Cloud9 will dive out. They want the jungle. Licorice, he's going to go all in for it. There's the stun from Sven, and Licorice unstoppable. He's going to move back forward. The stopwatch broken by Ssumday. The Cloud9 still want more. Dogfight out for the Aatrox as Cloud9 get no more kills, but still back to Baron with Meteos dead for 25.
They kill off the jungler now. It just feels like everyone on 100 Thieves is taking a turn in the fountain. Death timers aren't long enough that Cloud9 will head back to Baron, but they have been racking up the gold off of all these kills that they are getting. So you can see 5 control wards from Cloud9 left around this Baron. They can just return out to the map and continue seemingly to pick off 100 Thieves team members at will.
And they've really just kind of stacked it up here. 6,000 gold ahead also for Cloud9. They don't go back to the Baron. Instead, they go spend said gold and are back out onto the map to force even more action. I think playing appropriately here. As 100 Thieves know that Cloud9 are not pulling any punches when it comes to starting these fights.
Yeah, and we have seen some different Yasuo builds, by the way. Variations where they're going Frozen Mallet early, Sterix, Blade of the Ruin King. But GoldenGlue's have none of that. He is going for DPS Yasuo here. Phantom Dancer right in that Infinity Edge. He has true damage crits that will be coming through. And that has been shown in the burst that Cloud9 have put on display. They've got plenty of crowd control. So all they need is the damage to finish off these targets once they get a hold of them from initiations from Zeyzal, from Svenskeren on the Sejuani. They've opened up plenty of time to finish up those kills. And 100 Thieves have been reeling from it. Now there's a Zhonya's completed for Ryu, so they do have a little bit more teamfight presence, so it's extra stasis to rely upon. And Cody Sun still has his stopwatch as well as his double item power spike with the Nashers, complementing that Rage Blade. But even with these few answers from 100 Thieves, it they have not had a chance to use them because they're dying so quickly.
But we come back to the start of all the problems, Kobe. It is this lane. Licorice still with so much alone time, 2 levels up on Ssumday. And again, we talked about his Shen play, maybe making some tough decisions and choosing incorrectly when playing the Shen. Your decision tree is much more narrow as Fiora, and if Licorice is the one in the lead commanding the game as one of the more experienced players left on the roster, Cloud9 looking pretty good as Meteos going to get chummed up, but knocks one away, still getting aggressed on. Hemo playing out, starting with the ulti, but it's a bit of a miss as Keith forced to feather away. 100 Thieves trying to collapse. Cody straight in there, but he's maybe going to get chummed up a little too long. Instead, he takes down Zeyzal. Licorice is here, but he's trying to get a kill. Ryu gonna live. Meteos on a rampage, taking out GoldenGlue. A double kill for the Xin Zhao.
And 100 Thieves come storming back. They get a couple kill for themselves. The 2 stasis, Ryu with his stopwatch and Cody Sun with his stopwatch and Ryu with the Zhonyas. Both come in very key there for the Coot carries. Teleport from Cody Sun's coming back out, and Licorice wants to meet him upon arrival.
It's like, fine, you won't come and meet us. Split push will just come fight you. Licorice,
goodness.
Licorice and Keith, 1v5, 1v6 maybe with the Baron helping out, but it's not enough. The Baron does go over to 100 Thieves, who keep themselves in this game.
What an opening there, 100 Thieves. Steal it right back. Meteos, he's able to delay with his ultimate here, gets the knockback, even though Zeyzal just touched him. Since he got his ult off, you can't damage him from outside of that sphere, so he doesn't go down. He's able to stay alive and buy enough time for the rest of the team to come here. Cody Sun takes the killer instinct into 3 members, knows that he has the stopwatch, and knows that they need a big play right now to get back into this game. And because of the 2 Mountain Drakes, it allows them to take those 2 kills, pick up Baron, and come right back out onto the field.
One of the more soft-spoken members of 100 Thieves, but that is not showing in his play. 4-0 and 1. 2 items and ticking now for the Kai'Sa, and we have seen late-game Kai'Sa do some silly things, Kobe.
Yep, and now he's working on his own Zhonyas. Try and get another activation after the stopwatch has been used already. Plus the armor, as I said in Champ Select, armor is going to go a long way here for 100 Thieves members. And as you can see, predicted a lot of Ninja Tabbies. There are double Zhonyas. And they're going to be able to use this Baron to collect a lot of that extra gold.
And look at Licorice just saying, you know what? We're going to stick to the plan. Straight to mid lane. Pushing the minions as the rest of his team going to try and defend these turrets. But not much to defend here for these outers in tier 2. So 100 Thieves get 2 turrets. Now have to get out safely with Ssumday answering the mid push that Licorice moved into that part of the map. Might get cut off here, but Licorice also has to worry himself.
Oof. Licorice is gotta be feeling a little bit frustrated here. 5-0 Fiora, been blasting his lane all game long, always had control of the side lane, and yet Cloud9 find themselves on the back foot, even though they're still up in gold, they're still up in kills. That opening for 100 Thieves, you know, that punishment is gonna definitely be felt in review. Cloud Drake on top of it means that this is going to be the 3rd Drake over to 100 Thieves, despite the strong play from Cloud9 throughout this game, finding those kills.
And there it is, Cody with now 3 items completed as the Zhonyas is finished. Gives his team their 3rd straight Drake of the game. Have to wait for Baron to spawn back up, although it's still on 100 Thieves, so a whiles away from that, Kobe.
Yeah.
100 Thieves still trying to siege it up. Have evened up the turrets thanks to this Baron. See if they can get the lead now and see if Ssumday fares any better with the rest of his team behind him. Svenskeren gets tagged by a Winter's Bite. Cody finds the W. Looks like 100 Thieves should be able to take down this turret if nothing else.
Slowly but surely here, they just want to buff up with the Baron, the minions. They're doing their work. Cody Sun getting a couple autos. You can see whenever he goes up for those autos, Aphromoo stands right in front of him, ready to put up that unbreakable. Many of members have felt the initiation already. Sejuani ult with the Rakan engagement can be very quick, but as long as Aphromoo is there on Braum right in front of the Kai'Sa, it means that Cloud9 would have a lot of trouble really getting much out of it.
Yeah, 100 Thieves also no need to split up. They just stay 5 strong, guard their cannon, powered up with the Baron as it barely wears off.
Yeah.
And they'll get themselves a 5th turret. No inhibitor turrets cracked, not even damaged, but still 100 Thieves get a lot back here.
Yeah, plus as strong, you know, as Licorice is in the 1v1, if you bring him to a team fight, Ssumday always on Aatrox is going to be able to stack up his passive on the team fight and be able to revive after just going in and trying to get off pure autos. It's a lot more simple than trying to team fight as a Fiora, where you have to hit your riposte, and then in order to get the cooldown reduction on those as well, you have to get off autos to be able to get up another riposte. Even if you're trying to use that Essence Reaver to its full effectiveness. So if 100 Thieves just try and focus him down, then it becomes so much more difficult to play that Fiora later in the team fights than it is to play the Aatrox, who just kind of goes all in, tries to auto whoever's closest to him.
Yeah, well, CNN are at least back to the same pattern we saw before. Ahead just barely in goal, but I think at this point just trying to abuse still the power of their 1v1 matchup with Licorice applying all this side lane pressure. But Cloud9 have to be a bit more careful than last time when they look for initiations with the rest of them. And again, this game is slowing down a lot more. Cloud9, just before that happened, were playing guns blazing.
Yeah.
And now forced to just slow down and move back.
It all changed when Cody Sun was able to turn it around in that jungle fight and pick up the kills for 100 Thieves and allow them to get Baron and retake control of the map. Because now Cloud9 are in the state where they still want to, as you're talking about, split. They want to push those sideways. They want to keep Licorice isolated there in the side lane, and then still look for the Sejuani and the Rakan to pick off someone from 100 Thieves if they're out of position around mid lane. But Aphromoo has not been giving them the openings as of late. Meteos has not been caught out recently. Oh, I just as we say that.
Aphro instead. The next target, but GoldenGlue not there to follow with the last breath, so just a couple of taps there from C9 and nothing else as GoldenGlue answering the minions at Ryu was kind of getting going here in the top side. Cody also with a QSS, kind of the other notable thing. We already saw how willing he was to go in with his stopwatch. Now with the Zhonya's and a QSS, can be even more aggressive with his ult usage.
Yeah, as long as he stays up and continues to apply that threat from the back line, it's going to be difficult there for Cloud9. That's why they're playing it so much more cautiously after the big resurgence here. A lot of vision being cleared out now from the blue quadrant of their jungle by 100 Thieves, and Baron coming up in 40-odd seconds means they're going to have another opportunity to try and use the threat of the double mountains to burn through this Baron and force Cloud9 out of their split push.
Licorice is not being stopped just yet. We've already seen him dive turret to try and take down Ssumday. Instead wants to try and focus this down. Does get a vital. Now going to pop the ulti. Going in again for Ssumday, but Ssumday has the passive back up.
Parry.
Licorice, though, able to wait it out. Going to try and take down the kill. Ssumday still under threat. The vital on the other side. But a wonderful flash from Ssumday. Going to keep him alive.
Yep, Licorice not going to try and follow there. 4v4 in mid.
Yep, going to start something up. Zeyzal pops the ulti, I think just as a deterrent more than anything else. Still no initiation by 100 Thieves. Licorice does get the turret there in bot lane.
Yep, C9 are able to use their advantage. The 1v1 on top side there that is isolated. Now Licorice is on the inhibitor turret.
Ssumday passive down though. Baron though started by 100 Thieves.
Yep, and they're going to burn through it quickly. As we said, 3,000 health. Here we go.
Svenskeren going to dive in, try and find a steal, but he doesn't grab it. Instead, the fight will start as Cody again. Killer instinct to the backline, takes down Zeyzal, almost gets Keith, and he's going to slay the rest of them. GoldenGlue gets popped into his GA. Licorice is called off the pressure there on the bot side. Cody with a double, looking for three. Is Aphro going to try and tag out Sven, who does get out for now with the use of the blast cone. Keith also got out to safety, but I think Sven just has to buy time. That W barely misses for Cody Sun.
Meteos has got him though. He's got a Cloud Drake. And
might be given to Cody instead, who'll happily take his third kill of the fight. Flash for Meteos, he wants it, and Cody, godlike, takes down Svenskeren.
Oh my goodness, even though Cloud9 can easily win the 1v1, they can't win the 4v4, and 100 Thieves force the Baron. This one's gonna be inside the base.
Win battle, losing the war right now for Cloud9 as 100 Thieves find team fight after team fight and crack the first inhibitor. 10 seconds on GoldenGlue, 30 on Svenskeren. C9 have to defend, 3v4 for now as Zeyzal dives in. They get Cody, but they can't follow up. GoldenGlue's not even there, not alive, to try and get the last breath in. Licorice with a parry again, but he's gonna go down. His first death of the game could be a very, very costly mistake as GoldenGlue is dancing around, but he can't dance no longer. 100 Thieves, they slay the rest of Cloud9, and they'll take down the Nexus.
Woo! Another banger, back and forth here. Huge advantage for Cloud9 with Licorice on the Fiora into Aatrox all game long, gaining advantages for them. But then 100 Thieves strike back when it counts. They get the team fight in the jungle, pick up the Baron. They're able to reset very quickly off of that. The presence around the 4v4 trumps the 1v1 advantage. And they're able to find the victory here. That is a 2-0 week for 100 Thieves after starting out 0-2 in week 1. Very big turnaround for them after talking about looking for a mental reset and having that wake-up call.
Starting to feel perhaps like some of shades of spring. They had definitely a top tier every season, but they finished first and made it to the finals. So we'll count it as working as intended, at least for now, as 100 Thieves do well to sweep that weekend. Cloud9, on the other hand, you can certainly see the refinement coming into this team. I think sticking to the narrower, albeit like very strong win condition that Licorice built for them, but was not enough for the 100 Thieves team fight presence.
Yep, once they give that up and the double Mountain Drakes really coming in key, and 100 Thieves just being able to rush down these Barons, and that is going to be the turning point, right? Even if you have the advantage in the 1v1 of the split push, if you can't stop the other 4 members from forcing around the neutral objectives, then really nice play there from 100 Thieves to actually work this one out from a dangerous early game.
Well, to hear more about that win from 100 Thieves, let's send it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. After their 0-2 week 1, 100 Thieves bounced back with a 2-0 here, up over Cloud9 in this second game of the day. This was the one game in which you guys were divided when it came to the predictions. Ultimately,
I officially win now today.
Comes away with the victory. But let's be real. Things were looking good for Cloud9 for so long throughout that game, in particular with Licorice up in the top lane.
They were always the aggressors. Not only was Licorice pulling off these plays, they were super close to getting a bunch of kills on Ryu in mid, they were super close to a bunch of kills in bottom lane, but it was really Licorice who got going. He avoided the cheese gank early on in the game, and he seemed to always go in at the right time to get kills. I mean, at one point, he was 5-0-0 and about 50 CS up on Ssumday.
And solo killing Ssumday in manners like this.
Yeah, that cheese gank avoiding thing was really important because it made Ssumday miss some XP as Meteos stole it. He hit the level 2 first and kind of ran with that advantage, started getting these solo kills, and like we said, completely took over the game. The problem was his 4-man group was kind of letting him down. Those skirmishes that were happening around the mid lane, you saw that wasn't particularly clean. While Licorice finds a kill, some people are dying underneath the turret. Sven in particular missed 2 or 3 pretty critical Sejuani ults. And that was kind of what led this game to start slipping away, was while the 1-man split push was popping off, the 4-man core wasn't doing their job.
Yeah, and let's set the table. They were 6,000 gold up with a 5-0 Fiora and a pretty good amount of initiation on the team with a Xayah Rakan combo and a Sejuani. Perfect position to win the game.
Yep.
But they completely flub a fight. And then also after the fight as well. We're going to get into this fight because
we're going to dive right into it.
I'm not happy about it,
100 Thieves come out.
Let 'em know,
3-0 near their own red buff. The Baron will fall in their favor following this, but spotlight on Licorice as he enters the fight from the southern part of the screen.
And a lot missed by C9. They missed Sej ult, they missed the Xayah ult, so they probably made a retreat call. But look at this situation Licorice has. He has everything up, including flash. There is a stunned Vladimir, and obviously his ultimate is up. He's 5-0. He can one-hit the Vladimir, he can flash onto Cody Sun, he can probably ult Meteos and maybe even get a 3rd kill. Then he's got to worry about the Braum exhaust and the Braum stun. But that specific situation, when you are a 5-0 Fiora, you have to take the game into your own hands and at least try.
Right.
Because if that doesn't work, the other team gets Baron, your split push dies. They even sat idly by and watched as the Baron was taken instead of going for Cloud Drake. That was the moment.
I mean, you see it there on the goal graph. 26 minutes is where things start to trend in 100 Thieves' favor. And so to your point, Jat, not that this is an easy decision for Licorice to make in the midst of that chaotic 5v5 team fight, but it is the mentality that he needs to enter that fight with, being the 5-0 Fiora, being the guy who is charged now with carrying the team to victory.
Yeah, the takeaway is definitely not Licorice didn't do
should
well.
have won the
There was
fight.
so
Should
much
have
wrong
done
with
this.
that fight before Licorice entered.
Right.
Plenty of mistakes, but that is still the opportunity you have. That is just another mistake on top of it, which is why I'm so like I picked Cloud9. I actually felt great about that prediction. I'm disgusted that they lost that from a 6,000 gold lead, but they ultimately had much worse AD carry play, very poor coordination in team fights, and 100 Thieves with veteran leadership, stayed cool, and won yet another game. This is how they win a lot of them, is just by outplaying other teams in teamfights.
Big tip of the cap to Ryu and Cody, both going really aggro in that fight. After Meteos baited a lot of the engage, big Vladimir ult, followed up with a really aggressive Kai'Sa ultimate as well.
All right, well, there you have it. To hear more about that win, let's hand it off to Avli for an interview with 100 Thieves jungler.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Meteos. Congratulations to 100 Thieves on that 2-0 week, especially after week 1 going 0-2. Can you now just like take a nice deep breath and sigh of relief?
It's definitely a relief to get a win because I was pretty unhappy starting 0-2. I don't think I've ever started 0-2 in my career before this, so not having a win in LCS just feels bad. Like in the back of my mind, just the entire week, like during scrims, after scrims, and solo queue, during my time off, I'm just like, why am I not practicing? I can't be 0-2. So definitely feels good to get some wins.
So it sounds like a lot of motivation came from behind that. Aphromoo yesterday said that going 0-2 was like a wake-up call for you guys. So tell me about the scrims. Tell me about what kind of practice and preparation went into this week.
I would say last week was a pretty big wake-up call. I think we are maybe a little bit lazier than we should have been in our scrims and a little bit more laid back, which can kind of happen when you have like, a month of scrims to play through. So I think we did go into week 1 a little bit underprepared, didn't really have a great read on the meta. And so this week we pretty much just trying to hone in on all the stuff we did wrong, try to find picks that work out for us, and just find some way to kill the enemy nexus just through whatever means we can.
So we also saw in 100 Thieves Heist, we saw Rakan and Cody both swapping off, practicing and working together. How is 100 Thieves using their academy team to kind of up their game?
So we did use Rakan for one day this week in scrims, and it was basically just to get sort of a fresher perspective on the meta, because Cody is really, really good at playing AD carries, but he's not as experienced on like bruisers and mages in the bot lane, and Rakan has more experience playing that kind of stuff. So he has a little bit different communication playstyle, so we were seeing like, okay, maybe if we just, bring him in for a day, it can help us see some things that we were missing. And it was pretty helpful, so thank you to him. And as far as how we work with our academy team, we work fairly closely. We're like right next door to them now, and we'll like talk about the game during lunch. Their coach will come over and help us out with scrims. Sometimes we'll go over there and watch them scrim. So we're pretty close.
That's really cool that everyone gets to kind of work together. But I want to ask you a little bit about your thoughts on the meta. We've seen a lot of non-junglers come into the jungle. So what do you think about the current meta right now, and how are you adapting to it?
I think the current meta is fairly fun, minus the gold funneling strat. I really don't like playing Nunu, even normally playing Nunu, but when I'm not farming anything, it's just super critically boring. So I'm not a huge fan of the gold funneling strat. It kind of feels like, a solitaire playstyle where it's just kind of like you're playing the game with no care to what the other team's doing. So hopefully that doesn't last forever. But aside from that, I think the variety in picks is really fun, and seeing some new stuff coming to bot lane is pretty exciting. So overall, I like it, minus the gold funnel.
Well, congratulations again on your win, and thank you so much for the interview. And for everyone else, when we return, Team Liquid and TSM square off on the Rift. So meet us back here for Game 3 after this.